Hello and welcome to Starship Sofa's HQ. Today I'm going to look at the book Rendezvous with Rama, Arthur C. Clarke's Hugo and Nebula award-winning book. This book is what I would personally give to someone who didn't know science fiction, wanted to get into science fiction. This is the book that I would recommend. So yes, hello everyone. I want to talk about today Rendezvous with Rama, Arthur C. Clarke. And this book is just a classic science fiction book. It's got all the traits that I love in science fiction to make it just a fantastic read. And like I said in the introduction, this is the book that I would probably give to someone, trying science fiction. Just try that first. It's not too big. See what you think. It's exciting, it's fast paced, and it's one of those kind of crucial stories that just reveals little snippets as it goes along, makes you want to keep on reading, which is a little quality that I love. So personally, why I love it, apart from those little reasons there, is it's Arthur C. Clarke. And I'll tell you why. I always thought I'd read this one, and I'm beginning to kind of realize there's quite a lot of books that you never read, but you think you've read them. And this one, I've read a few Arthur C. Clarke's in kind of the kind of happy days of golfing stories. And this was one of the kind of ones I thought, I must have read that one, but never had. And I've done, like I say, I've just read it last week on the Kindle, and just loved it. Do you know what I mean? Just loved it so much. I think it's just an exciting story. Do you know what I mean? And the premise, like I say, I'm not going to hopefully give anything away, is this big, again, like 2001, this kind of big monolith, this big object comes into space, into kind of our solar system, and our nearest ship we've got goes there to kind of check it out, to kind of discover it and see what its secrets are. And it's from that little premise that, and it's a 200 pages story. And if you remember kind of last week, that's the sweet spot, like just under 200 pages for a story. Clarke just delivers a great story, brilliant storytelling. The characters are just perfect, not too detailed, not too waffly, just enough for you to kind of picture your own characters, how you want these characters kind of to look and to feel. But I think with Arthur C. Clarke the guy was a kind of science genius, do you know what I mean? And he's popping in there lots of kind of science, but he's clever enough, very clever, to make it just so it's accessible to me and it doesn't go over my head. And I get what he's saying, and I enjoy what he's saying. It's like having a little lesson, a little kind of science lesson while reading a novel. So we have this captain who takes his ship, and like I say, they go and explore this giant oblong-shaped structure that's kind of came into kind of our solar system vicinity. And a little technique or a little kind of trick Clarke used was that he used different characters throughout the story, but still going back to the kind of the main captain character. So, and that was I really quite enjoyed that, because again, just a few pages to kind of get the new character described, a new event, a new kind of little problem to be solved. He brings in another character, and you're following this character's little adventure, trying to fly through this strange spacecraft. You've got different characters in the story with like one main protagonist character, and that's a really great little technique, because you're discovering as the story goes along, you're discovering Clarke's, just gently giving you a little bit more of the hidden goals, the end kind of secrets. He just keeps on revealing, through different characters. And I thought that one was just a great little technique. Like I say, when this story came out, it won the Hugo Award and the Nebula Award. Big feat, for a novel to do that. And it's understandable why. Straight away, you're kind of in, and Clarke just hooks you with this kind of premise of what is this? And that's, I think, what keeps the story going. What is this craft? What is it? Then they try and get over across it, and you want them to kind of get into this craft to discover. And then they get into the craft and it's pitch black, and you want light, and eventually kind of more and more things are revealed in the story of what it is. And then I think the ending as well, again, is just one of those endings, I'm not even going to go there, but just perfect. And like I say, Hugo and Nebula Award, just fantastic. And if I was going to give, this, I would give this one to someone who wasn't really kind of getting science fiction. Like I say, it's got the science fiction, just enough of the science to kind of make this kind of real, make it like plausible. All the concepts there, but it's also got this story that kind of zips away just at full speed, you know what I mean? And it just, someone who hasn't read science fiction or just would like to try it, give them that story first and just let them explore and let them enjoy it, because that's all it is. It's just a fun, there's no kind of hidden concepts. It's not trying to be something it's not. It's just a great story. Now, as well, and I didn't know this, I think there's 4 in this Rama series, and Clarke gets another writer as well, or another writer writes them with Clarke, Arthur C. Clarke, just kind of giving the kind of descriptions, giving the story some kind of movement. There's another writer writes them, and they're just getting hideous reviews. It's like, you can tell, this is what the reviews are saying. I don't even want to go there and spoil it. I don't want to kind of go down that, because you still, after the novel's finished, you still want more with this story. It's a brilliant way to kind of end it. You still want more, to discover more. These other novels came out, and they're not wrote by Arthur C. Clarke, and it just doesn't shine like the other ones, or the other one, the first one. All of them are just getting terrible reviews, dragged out characterization, all the things I don't like, all the things I kind of preach that aren't good. These ones have it. Do you know what I mean? Kind of just certain kind of scenarios in the novel that doesn't need to be in. Get the editor, get them cut out there. All this has it. So maybe I will kind of go down and read them at a later date. But like I say, I've just finished Rendezvous with Rama. Perfect. I don't want to kind of taint it with kind of these shoddy, inferior ones. Like I say, Clarke didn't write them, and he just kind of guided, give a kind of little guidance for the plot. But his name's on the kind of cover as well. So whether you kind of pick up them, after you've tried Rendezvous with Rama, have you read Rendezvous with Rama? Have you read it lately? Do you know what I mean? That's the thing as well. A lot of these kind of old science fiction classics, or what I'm classing as kind of old, you think you've read them. You read a few Philip K. Dick, and you think, well, I must have read them all. And that's exactly how I feel. Do you know what I mean? I think, well, I've read a couple of Clarke's. Well, I've obviously read that one. Hadn't. Do you know what I mean? So totally enjoyed the story. A brilliant story. Do you know what I mean? Would I recommend to anyone? Do you know what I mean? I recommend, if you're heavily into science fiction and you've read everything, go back and reread it, or just try it. If you haven't read any Arthur C. Clarke, try it. You will not be disappointed. Let us know what you think. You know what I mean? Did it deserve a kind of Hugo Award and a Nebula at the same time? Personally, yes. From the minute you kind of pick up that page, you get into the kind of characters, you get just the excitement of the story he's created, the kind of plots and the kind of, sometimes the kind of nervous tension that he's creating in these pages, because things happen and, people's lives are at stake. There's kind of big things happening for these kind of astronauts, these explorers in this ship, this vessel. And it's just, like I say, there's this almost tension, worry, for the characters. They're so believable that you just want to kind of make sure everything, happens and gets back okay. You believe, you put your kind of trust in these characters that they're going to come out, or you put your trust in Arthur C. Clarke to look after them. You don't want anything kind of negative to happen to them. And that's a great way for a writer, let's say, I think it's probably about 190 pages to get all that wrapped in there. Fantastic. Let us know what you think. Do you like Rendezvous with Rama? I personally think it is one of the kind of classic science fiction stories there. Give it to your friends to let them try science fiction. Comments below, that would be fantastic. Until next week, just like to say, goodbye from me. I hope you enjoyed that show. Please think about subscribing. You will get the shows each and every time I release them. And why not check out the videos? Worst science fiction books I have ever picked. Oh, they're there. Check it out. And while you're on, subscribe to the newsletter. You get Starship Sofa's Volume 1 free. Fantastic writers in there. Just sign up for the newsletter and you'll get that.